Okay, this is one of the questions from the review for exam 1, and this is f of x equals the tangent of x. We're going to take a closer look at this graph. Now, you can put this in your calculator if you'd like. Press the y equal button, type in tangent of x, and if you are graphing the tangent of x, let me just make a note. Use TI-84 calculator. Under the y equal button, I think it's a y1 button, you can type in tangent, and I think it comes with parentheses, and then you can press zoom 7, and zoom 7 gives us a beautiful trig window. And that trig window is from negative 2 pi to 2 pi, and that's both axes. So you can really see a beautiful graph if you do that. But for now, I'll just go ahead and show you, of course, what that graph looks like. Here is f of x equals the tan of x. And most of you know already that we have vertical asymptotes at pi over 2 and negative pi over 2 and on and on and on, because this graph continues in the same manner on both sides. Oops, that was a bad picture, but you get what I mean. But we're just going to look at this first example. So this is pi over 2, and this is negative pi over 2. And we know, looking at the unit circle, we know that, let's see if I can draw a nice circle here, that here at pi over 2 and here at negative pi over 2, if both of those places, the sine of x is going to be 1, but the cosine of x is 0. This would be negative 1. So, of course, the tangent is undefined at both of those places. So that's why we have these vertical asymptotes. Okay, let's work on this question. Let's first start right here. We're asked as x approaches negative pi over 2 coming from the left. So you're going to approach negative pi over 2 coming from the left. Now keep in mind that this graph is going to look like that again. So what happens, let's see if I can bring this over a little bit. What happens when we approach negative pi over 2 coming from the left side? What happens? What's our graph doing? It is going to positive infinity. Okay, so that is why we have this answer. Okay, let's do the same. Let's answer this next question. As x approaches negative pi over 2 coming from the right. So let's go ahead and come from the right and approach negative pi over 2. And where are those y values going? Where is that graph going? To negative infinity. So I hope this helps. I could give a quick counter example. What if we wanted to know as x approaches pi over 2 coming from the left, f of x approaches what? And then what if I said as x approaches pi over 2 coming from the right, what would f of x approach? Let's do both of these. Okay, so let's start with approaching pi over 2 coming from the left. So I'm going to approach pi over 2. As you can see, this is pi over 2 down here. And I'm coming from the left. Those y values, that graph is going to positive infinity. Now, if I go ahead and approach pi over 2 coming from the right, now keep in mind, if I'm coming from the right, if I'm coming from the right, I do need to see that other part of the graph. And as again, we said this is what this graph looks like, something like that. So if I approach pi over 2 coming from the left, from the right, we know that that is negative infinity. So I sure hope that this helps.